put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is 7 a.m. and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Viewers, this morning we are so happy, we are energized, we are getting closer to Christmas. And today I came out in my Christmas green and red rear in that mix, and I know I said rear would be that nice blend of red with me. I am Julian Skeet as we continue to give God thanks for life.
And I am Rhea Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to you, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you in the Caribbean and those of you viewing us on the live. Certainly, Julian, I added more red to your green and
yes,
white.
And it's that nice Christmas blend.
That's right.
That nice Christmas blend this morning.
And these are the days for it.
Indeed, indeed. And I continue to say viewers will continue to think that these things are coordinated. They don't believe me.
Nobody beats. Nobody beats.
And indeed, just make it happen. So Rhea, we've been looking at the happenings, and I couldn't help but to notice, and I'm hoping that we can pull up on screen very quickly. Two indications, increases coming as would have been announced by the Minister of Finance, and then the reality starts to hit you as you get closer
That's
to
right.
that timeline, January 1st. And we see that Carl would have put out a release indicating the domestic air bridge fare is scheduled to increase, and that is set to increase effective January 1st. And what's interesting for me, Rhea, is that if you purchase, my understanding is that if you purchase the ticket prior to or on December 31st for the 2023 year for travel, you pay the same cost now, which is $300 for adult passengers, return fare, and $200 return. However, if you have to change the date for that travel in 2023, you have to pay the change fee as well as the difference in the airfare. Isn't that interesting? So I can pay $300 now to book the travel on January the 10th. And then if from January 1st I decide I want to make a change to that 10th, I have to pay the $50 per way to make that change, so that's $100, and I have to pay the additional $100 in terms of the airfare.
That's right.
In terms of making those changes. So very interesting times. The new fare being $300 for children and $400 for adults, and those are the return fares that will take effect. In terms of going forward for travel dates from January 1st, 2023, and we are also seeing. I see that there has been an amendment, which is indicating that any tickets purchased on or after December 14th for travel will be at the new fare. Now, that's an amendment because when Carl initially sent out this release yesterday, there was no red notations below. So they have now adjusted, because I suspect what started to happen is that there was a mass purchasing of tickets for 2023 for dates ahead. So that has now been adjusted to suggest effective December 14th, as in yesterday. So once somebody is now purchasing for January. Now, isn't that interesting? Carl, I see what you have done there. Carl, I see what you have done there. Isn't that very interesting, Rhea? We read this document, it came out yesterday. And suddenly Carl now has a change that says effective as at yesterday, any tickets you purchase for 2023 it's automatically at the new fare.
You say interesting. I can think of a few other terms, but I don't think they'll be airworthy.
They might not be appropriate for the air, or they may see new hosts here by tomorrow if we start. And the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago has also followed suit effective January 1st. The Port Authority is indicating that effective January 1st, 2023, the passenger fare will be increased by $25 for economy class one way, and the premium class one way will be increased by $50 as follows. So it's very interesting now. An adult economy ticket return will now be $150 versus $100, which is a return ticket. And similarly as well for senior citizens. Imagine there's a charge now for senior citizens. How do I want to ask the
travel for free for a very long period of time.
I want to ask the Port Authority, how do you introduce a courtesy, no charge to seniors and then apply an increase years later? What is that? What is that of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago? You can't indicate that this is a courtesy to seniors, that they do not pay to travel and then apply and increase the seniors. I mean, something about it doesn't add up. I really wish the Port Authority would reconsider that kind of situation, especially for our seniors that utilize the ferry.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Julian, loud and clear. It makes you decide here now. Whenever you have to go to Trinidad, if you've got to decide whether or not you really have to go. And
yes.
If you've got to go, ensure that you get all that you need to get. Because your next time may not be as quickly as before.
Yes, and unfortunately for those of us living in the island, we do not have that option, because going to Trinidad in some instances,
it's a must.
Business and other activities,
it's a must.
Is definitely a must. So I really trust that there will be some kind of consideration for our senior citizens. Viewers, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. And here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, the 15th of December. The Roxborough folk performers, managed by former Tobago East MP Vanilla Allen Tope, were the recipients of a grant from the Central Administrative Services of Tobago under the Office of the Prime Minister. They were one of the 3 groups that received the grants. And the 2 others were the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the Trinidadian Diaspora Outreach Network. The MP for Tobago East, Ayanna Webster Roy, expressed her hope that the grants would further the work and impact of the recipients. The grants were distributed by the Financial Assistance Committee to assist NGOs, FBOs, and community groups in Tobago. And in other news, cultural icon and legend in Trinidad and Tobago Mast, Jerry McFarland donated toys to area representative for Bagatelle Bacalet, Natisha Charles Pantin. McFarland visited Tobago yesterday, where he personally handed over the toys. Charles Pantin will be distributing the toys to deserving children in her electoral district. The toys were collected at the Christmas Joy, the Magical Return show, which took place 3 weeks ago at Queen's Hall in Port-au-Spain. In a video posted to social media, McFarland said he collected the toys annually, distributes them to children in need across the Caribbean. And finally, Terminal Operations Manager of Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited, Colin Piper, said he had no choice but to stop the rescue of 4 men trapped in a pipeline. On February the 25th, 5 LMCS divers were stuck into a pipeline where 1 was rescued and the other 4 perished awaiting help. While testifying at the Commission of Inquiries into the incident, Piper stated it was a difficult decision to make, but one he felt necessary to prevent further loss of life. Piper, in answering questions posited by Senior Counsel Nuramish Lawrence Maharaj, said the unawareness of Pipe's conditions was a determining factor in the decision. Thank you, and that was your news in 90 seconds. Back to you, Julian and Ria.
Thank you very much, Chanel. A really interesting developments here. We have particular organizations seeming to have, good favor at local and national level. Or if I don't want to be, I want to be very, very specific at that. Seeming to have favor with the THA and the government. Interesting developments.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting developments when I think back to the whole start of what has been the challenge of the PDP. And yes, to remind you viewers, it is the same Roxborough Folk Performers Group, as far as my information says to us. It is the same group that would have been involved and had the challenges abroad, for which the political leader made some calls and there was a falling out. And the group has now been the recipient excellence. And we continue to encourage all these groups and organizations to really ensure that you are doing the kind of work to help to promote the island and so on. I'm always very big on ensuring that we incorporate elements of youth development so that, we'll have a nice transfer of the culture and the art form in terms of going forward. I got a quick message coming in here. Julian, it's not just the boat and the airfare, but effective the 19th of December 2022, taxi fares, it would appear, are also going up in some areas. So this is interesting. We are seeing here effective all short drops now would be between 35 and 45. And we're seeing information. So the person has said this is information related to the ANR Robinson, coming from the ANR Robinson air taxis and also the Scarborough taxi rates. So we will see some increases. Also, in terms of taxi fares that happen here within the Tobago space. Now, isn't this lovely?
You're seeing my expression. I'm trying to close my mouth.
It's very interesting because I suspect, I suspect very strongly these increases are not mirrored with the current negotiations that are ongoing in the country. Now, isn't that an interesting development? Because these increases seem to reflect, and we got it on screen. These increases are, very interesting. Increase of a higher taxi fare in Tobago. And we are seeing that the higher taxi fare for stands in Scarborough and the A&R Robinson International Airport will increase effective Monday, the 19th of December. So those increases will take place, and they indicated that the last price increase took place in 2016. When did the last public service salary increase take place? Not like 2014 or before? Oh, so there's need to come up to date. I'm just saying. Yeah, for our public officers, there's need to come up to date because we're still seeing negotiations happening, for that period and well before. And we don't want a situation where the only things that are increasing are the prices in the world, and then we go into 2023 struggling. I would say struggling in slow motion, but my director may not permit me the time this morning. All right. So, viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. Ria, who do we have up on our Tobago Updates morning show this morning?
Well, Julian, let me compose myself and then we can continue on here. Now, this morning we start things off. Yeah, we got into birthdays in just a little bit.
Getting into birthdays. Yes, have no fear, viewers. Have no fear.
We throwing things off with the director this morning. Mr. Director, we're sorry, but we're going to get into our rundown this morning. So coming up first this morning, we're going to be chatting with Jerry McFarland, former assemblyman of the Tobago House of Assembly. He's going to chat with us on the whole issue of the mass resignation from the PDP and crossing the floor in the Assembly. So that's coming up first on the program.
All right, and we'll also be chatting with Brendan Gray. And he's the chairman of Let the People Speak. So we look forward to those conversations this morning to get some insight into the upcoming forum.
And then we're going to be chatting with a daughter of the soil, roots deeply in WIM. She is now living abroad, Charlene Waldron Kinlock, who is a registered nurse and the HCA Medical Hospital in Florida. And she recently received the President's Lifetime Achievement Award. So we're going to be chatting with her.
All right, and we're heading straight on into our birthday celebrations this morning. We've got a hefty birthday lineup. All right, and we have on screen Callian Neptune. I want to wish you a happy birthday, Callie. I'm a very good friend out there, trusting that you will enjoy the celebrations. If I know Callian at all, she's certainly going to enjoy those celebrations.
Happy birthday to you, Callian. And then we've got Alicia Jack. And birthday greetings going out to Alicia Jack from Natasha and family, and also the Time to Time crew. I wish we knew the story behind that Time to Time crew.
That sound like we outside.
Happy birthday going out to you and love from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
We've got on screen, Ria.
That's right. This is Daniel Rollocks. Daniel Rollocks, roots deep in the McNeil Rollocks family. Daniel, love going out to you this morning. Yes. From Osha, Ocean, Osaze, Uncle Oswald, the entire family, your parents, your grandparents, love going out to you this morning.
And I really
and all of us here at
Tobago. Well. Exceptional in terms of being involved in development work is where I've met Marvin Hamilton is who we are moving on to next. And we want to wish you
love going out to you.
Happy birthday, Marvin Hamilton. And he seems to be out there in the greens where I'd like to be for a moment within all this Christmas cleaning. Just some way to relax.
Hint, hint. All right.
And who do we have on screen here?
Imelda Small Clark. She celebrated her birthday a couple of days ago. And my friend who should have sent me this picture, it just got a little bit delayed. I'm not going to call you up this morning, Zandra. I will not call you out, Zandra.
Ooh, is that Zandra Baines? That's right. I'm just saying. All right. So we're sending a birthday shelter. I know this face, Miss Imelda.
Yes.
All right. Want to wish you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings.
All right.
All right, viewers. Ria, we're excited. Who do we have coming up? He should be on screen with us. Who do we have coming up next? We look forward to hearing from former Assemblyman Jerry McFarland joining us on set this morning. All right, and he's certainly going to give us a little wave there coming in with us very shortly. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. And Ria, I'm checking in on the live very quickly this morning. I see Zandra is on this morning. Zandra Baines, Auntie Dora Lyons, Pearl
Good morning,
Murray,
good morning.
Morning to you. All right, Cynthia Branch, Darky Sylvester, AJ Allen, Katie Robinson, Karen Wilson, Donnie Vincent, Kuki Melville, Lisa James. Thank you to each and every one of you.
But Julian, I want to send out commendation this morning to Candice Jackson for yesterday's show. Indeed, Candice did an exceptional job. Now, I was on the live and I was looking at a lot of the comments and persons had a lot to say. But Candice did an excellent job, and I thought it noteworthy that we, recognize her this morning.
Yes, indeed. That was, I would indicate, I don't know any other way to describe it, but that was a very interesting interview with the political leader. And if there's one thing, the political leader, Watson Duke, in true style, he never disappoints. Never disappoints. He always brings something.
What you expect is what you're going to get.
Yeah, he always brings something. So that was a very interesting interview there. Yesterday, of course, our responsibility here at Tobago Updates, continuing to bring the information to you from all sides and all perspectives. All right, viewers, so we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. And I think Ria is getting some information coming in here, Ria.
Yeah, that's right. So I see Abby Taylor is sending birthday greetings to Lakeisha Curtin.
Yes,
that's right, Lakeisha Curtin. Happy birthday. And let me just make a correction. No, it was not Zandra's birthday. Zandra was supposed to send me the pic of Miss Clark. Okay, so it's
let me translate that for them. Jolene Murray, Zandra send the pic late. All right, but we're thankful for the picture nonetheless. Zandra, I know she's gonna call. But viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support coming from each and every one of you. We've got an exciting morning ahead. Remember, those of you joining us online, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live. It's great.
Welcome. It's Christmas time at Limage Parfait Day Spa.
And we invite you to indulge in a range of gift vouchers, gift packages, body pampering services, and more. We can even host your next spa party. With 2 branches conveniently located in Trinidad and Tobago, we look forward to making your experience beautifully unforgettable. Call us today or visit our website, elparfait.com.
Feliz Navidad. Bienvenido a Limage Parfait Day Spa.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Spread Christmas joy and cheer with a loan from Lambo Credit Union this year. Get 100% financing for shopping, home renovations, furniture and appliances, debt consolidation and much more. Did we mention no payments until the end of January 2023? Get the most flexible repayment periods and the best interest rates around. Call 639-5060 to book your appointment today. Or visit us on Facebook or Instagram. Wishing you a happy holiday from Lambo Credit Union. And remember, we are always here for you.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, morning. Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. We continue this morning with, in fact, we start things off this morning with Jerry McFarland, former Assemblyman of the Tobago House of Assembly. This morning our focus is on the mass resignations from the PDP and the crossing of the floor in the Assembly. But just before we get into that, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier on the domestic air bridge fare. In fact, the increase in the domestic air bridge fare. Jerry McFarland, good morning and welcome to you.
Morning, a pleasure to be here.
And I want to get your thoughts very quickly on that increase that we see by Cal, that extra $100 onto that $300. In fact, not even extra. We're talking $50 increase either way. In fact, both ways, and an additional $50 if you've got to change either way. If you've got to change your date and time of travel.
Tantamount to a fare increase.
Definite. A whopping, for many of us, it's a whopping increase. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, first, I must just remind you that, you know, I was on that committee that looked at, I was the chairman of the committee instead, that the THA and Cal appointed to look at that $50 application to change the change fee, $50 change fee.
Right.
And one of the things that was discussed, we discussed a number of recommendations. I can't go into that detail because it was a THA Cal document. But on my personal view, you know, I always felt that, you know, an increase must be subject to an improved service. You know, you just can't drop an increase because you have additional costs of running the air bridge. You have to see the air bridge as an important, integral part of Tobago's development and the national development as well. So you can't be proud to say that Cal is making so much money on one hand, and on the Tobago leg, you talk about it not making money. You know, you have to look at it as a whole, and you have to look at what the airline has contributed, or how Tobago can benefit from this airline with increased and better service. And that is what is critical right now, more than an increase. Provide an additional seats, provide additional flights, allow the flights to go later. You know, and when you have these things in place, you can now justify an increase. But you have 8 or 10 flights. I take 8 flights right now, and we used to have 21 flights daily. And on weekends you had more. So the level of service has decreased substantially. You know, we have not gone back to the 21 flights a day, and on weekends you had even additional flights. I mean, we must be fair to Cal as well that this operation is, of course, a very expensive operation. But you have to look at it in a way that, just as you look at the health service you provide in Tobago, or the teaching service, or the public service, all these things are essential, the police service, you know. So you can't say because, you know, the police service is critical, so you have to increase the cost of the police service or the cost of health care, for that matter, on the island, you know. You have to look at it as how the air bridge is an integral part of Tobago's development. Right now, I could tell you about 5 different persons who are now in Trinidad, and they, of course, gone for health, particular issues, to deal with health issues.
Right.
I should tell you how important the thing is. Other people going for business, maybe 1 or 2 people there for pleasure or shopping or something. But it's to tell you how important it is when somebody wants to go to the Trinidad to benefit from a particular type surgery or procedure, and you can't get a flight because there is inadequate flights.
I've been there. But Jerry, let me ask you, at this point, what can you see would be the rationale behind the increase? Well, how do you justify, how is Cal justifying this increase?
I don't know how they seem to have been justifying it through the fact that the price of operation has increased. And I mean, where else in the world the price of operating an airline or the sea bridge, for example. The sea bridge is a very expensive operation as well. You know, but at the same time, look at what it provides for the people of Tobago. To get to Trinidad is the umbilical cord to Trinidad. We can't drive like somebody may drive from Toco to Port of Spain.
We don't have that option.
Hope Hospital. You know, we can't do that. So we have to take either the air bridge or the sea bridge. So I find the increase was not at this, should not be applied at this point in time. It must be based on additional or better or improved services to the public of Trinidad and Tobago.
You agree that there should be, you agree that there should be an increase, but just not at this point.
When you show definitely that there is a service improved, additional flights, additional seats, later travel. You know, the last flight leaves here, what, 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I think, from Tobago. You know, that is unacceptable. We used to be closing off here 12 o'clock, 11 something in the night. You know, it is totally inadequate and unacceptable, especially to apply and increase that situation where the service is not up to standard.
Jerry McFarland, I like you this morning. All right. I want to switch gears, and we could talk about this all morning, but I want to switch gears here, even as we focus a little bit on the mass resignations from the PDP. I want to get your thoughts very quickly here. We've not had you on our program. Is this the first time?
First time.
Wow. Welcome. Welcome to the Tobago Update. Yes, Juliana got it. The Tobago Updates morning show. Jerry, what are your thoughts on what we've been seeing? With this new administration, we have seen several firsts. We have seen a first 6-6 in the history of Tobago. We've seen the first time we've had 2 elections. Am I correct? First time we've had 2 elections.
2 elections in about 12 months.
Within 12 months. This is the first time we've seen an all-out resignation by members of a sitting administration.
But the resignation, you have to bear in mind, is not a resignation from the assembly. You know.
No, not resignation. From
people who are in the assembly, members of the assembly, and councillors as well, who resigned from the particular party that they went to the polls.
But it's the first time we've been seeing this. I want to get your thoughts on these several firsts.
Well, I join with the population here in Tobago, and we are very disturbed and very uncomfortable with the situation. As a matter of fact, it comes across very embarrassing. And you get the feeling that you're dealing with some people who are very immature and don't understand basic politics and how the thing runs and so on. But I must indicate as well that it is not the first time, and it would not be the last time, that political parties, wherever you go, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago, don't have challenges.
Right.
It happened before. During my time, I was a member of the assembly. We had challenges in the DAC. You know, we didn't make it as big as this, you know. I know at one time, you know, people were saying, let the thing break up, fine, because, you know, because of certain challenges we had in the DAC at the time. We morphed into the NAR, and they had challenges. You see what Robinson had, Pandy, and they had this people's, not the People's Partnership, but they worked together with all the opposition parties, and they came out. So 33-3, you know, was the results of the election at that time in 1986. So after that, there were some problems. And Pandy took his fraction, and when they formed Club 88, and it morphed into the UNC. So the issue I see here over the years, starting even from Williams to now, is how politicians relate to each other, how leaders in the different parties over the years relate to each other. And it seemed to be either their way or the highway. Remember Williams said, and maybe you might be too young to remember, Williams said, when I talk, no damn dog back, you know? And who don't sign this letter of resignation, you know, you just can't be, you can't contest the election. And that is where the falling out started with Carl Hudson Phillips and Williams. And Carl Hudson Phillips went to form the ONR. But it seems to me, from my interaction and knowledge and experience, looking and dealing with some of these leaders over the years, even with Robinson and Winston Murray, you know, people, you know, trouble all along the line. It is as if we don't have the temperament, or we don't have the what it takes to be a leader, to respect other people's views who don't agree with your view, and to agree to disagree, but to cooperate and put the best interests of the people first, you know? And to me, that is what is sadly lacking. You can't tell me after, it's really embarrassing to the people of Tobago, many of whom were PNM, people who were fence-sitters, people who were PDP, and other interested persons got together and said, listen, we want to make a change, and we're voting for the PDP. No. PNM people did that too, you know, voted for PDP because they themselves wanted to change from what they had. you know, and now people were so enlightened and feel so happy, and now you have this embarrassing situation. This is untenable, and I feel it could have been stopped if people were just a little more mature.
You think it's an issue here of immaturity?
Yeah, it's a certain level of immaturity. There wasn't telling, people didn't want to listen. I mean, I know of about 50 persons who tried to intervene and have the thing de-escalated when it just started, you know. Even before the election, you know, people were saying, listen, PDP lose the last election, or it came 6-6, maybe because of some outburst by Watson. And people were fearful of that might happen again. I know people in the party, from what I was told, begged them to ensure that Watson Duke do not say anything outrageous or that may cause embarrassment to the party or the effort that the PDP was making.
Now, there's some who are saying that he was pretty quiet for a while.
That was deliberate, because people impressed upon him that it has to be so. Otherwise, and that people were walking from the party.
But
including Fali, was prepared to walk.
Here's my question. You know who the man is.
Exactly.
You know the man before you know, getting into the politics of PDP. You know the nature of the individual. Why was there an expectation that he would be different 6 months into the game, 1 year after? Why?
In my view, I think it was a reasonable expectation, because he surprised a lot of the people who were looking on, just casually, or just commentators looking on. He kept quiet. He kept quiet during that last election. He kept quiet. They impressed upon him to keep quiet and don't make any outrageous comments. A lot of that. You remember his stink and dirty comment and all these kind of comments
this
before?
is, Jerry,
that
this
did
is
not happen
tantamount
in this last occasion. So people feel that he understood his role of leader of the party, and he understands that he has to play a very subdued role, because you're not in opposition. You're going to get to be in government, in the THA.
This is
so people felt confident that, listen, he would have made a transition.
This is tantamount to a man horning a woman. This is tantamount to a man horning a woman. You know he horning, but you believe that when I marry him, he will stop horning. But he horning your left, right, and center, east, west, north, and south. But when I marry him, he will stop. You know the nature of the gentleman. Why is there a belief that things are going to change, and all of a sudden, after being quiet for months, a year later, you think that it's going to be any different?
Well, I don't know. That is a question that Watson himself had to answer, and the people who are associated with him. But I still feel that people felt that, given how he cooperated and agreed that he's going to be quiet and operate in a particular way, and don't make these outrageous, embarrassing comments, people felt after that, and after the victory, he felt, well, listen, maybe I should try. They feel that, well, maybe we should try and do something. I mean, we feel we could trust him a little more now. And eventually that didn't really work out, you know, because he felt, you know, he operated like, you know, he have all the marbles, so he just game done. I ain't like we're going on, so I took up my marbles and I go. You know, that is a little boy attitude that I can't come to terms with. And in spite of the fact that many people have tried to bridge this thing and avoid it from going further, you know, I feel that, there's still hope, between me and you. I just feel there's still hope, but people have to be more mature.
You believe that there is...
I still feel there's a possibility of some hope still. But I feel both parties, when you talk about both parties, Fali and Watson, have to have do some serious reflection.
Do you believe that they both operated in error with this situation, or was it a one-track situation where Mr. Duke may have acted irresponsibly? Do you think that Mr. Augustine is without fault in this case?
That is an interesting point that you're raising. It's not that either of them is without fault or so, but you know, Fali has an issue of not communicating with people as he should, or communicate with the rank and file of the population. And the administration, I should say, not just Fali, but the administration feels that, you know, press conferences or press release and so on, or giving a comment in the press about something, you know, that is communicating with the people and let the people see what they're doing. But to me, especially for a party that had such a landslide victory, I mean, always remember what Benny DeCamp Strong told me when the NAR 133.3. He said the biggest challenge that they're going to have at that time is trying to hold this thing together after 2033. That's the same challenge Benedict Armstrong told me again when the PDP won this time. 14-1. The biggest challenge they have is keeping this thing together. And that is a fact, because we have not developed the mindset to do things a little differently, to do things legally, to do things with people, the corporation or the public service, which is critical. A lot of the ideas that was floated that to be done before the election and even tried to be pursued after the election, were not possible. It cannot be accommodated in law or in practice. The public servants have told me on many occasions some of the proposals that was brought, before them to sort of finance or to advise on or to work on. Many of them were pie in the sky kind of thing. No way of they're going to get funding for these kind of projects. So I think they have to be careful, and you blame that a little bit on inexperience and so on. Not being in the THA before, a young THA, but still a lot of people still have hope. And that is what I feel, that there could be some attempt. I know there's still been some attempt that something could be done differently if people could be assured that Watson can change his style and Farley could be a little more accommodating to some of the things. And so I'm not saying that people should hold on to something that is totally illegal or something that is inappropriate or conduct the kind of behavior that is not acceptable to the Tobago population.
One of a couple of the views online, Andre Edwards says, Jerry, there's no hope. Avril Dennis says, Mr. Jerry, there is still hope. But very quickly here, I want to ask you here, Watson Duke describes this as what happened between himself and Mr. Augustine as a betrayal. The term he used was that this is a betrayal to the people of Tobago. Do you agree with that statement?
I don't see it as a betrayal at all. It's not a betrayal. I see that Watson contributed to this thing in a very serious way. I'm not saying that he alone is at fault, but he contributed to this thing in a very serious way. He brought this upon himself. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. I should make the mention of this as well. Absolutely nothing is wrong with the members of the PDP who resigned, who are members of the assembly, including the councillors, resigned from the party. What is more important, and by the way, the law doesn't even speak when they're appointing these people, which party you come from, 15 people could be there from 15 different parties.
You were elected.
Yeah, is who is elected there. When the time comes, they make nominations for the presiding officer, and then from that, you go and they choose a chief secretary. They're not asking you, or the clerk at the time who is doing the thing is not asking you how much persons your party win, or how much contestants, won, or that kind of thing. They're not asking you anything like that. So the party, when it comes to in the assembly, is not really recognized. So they're resigning from the party, doesn't mean much, except from a moral or political point of view, that, listen, this is the party that which you ride on to get into office. But you can have 15 of these people from 15 different parties, and when you go inside the house, all they're concerned about is how many of you have a nomination. They call for nomination for chief secretary. First thing, how many of you willing to support this person as chief secretary? Yes, all of us support this person as chief secretary.
All right. My director is saying here that we're out of time, but I really wanted to find out, do you support Mr. Duke's call on Trinidad to help treat with Tobago's affairs?
That is so unfortunate to comment by him. One stage he blaming Farley for having Trinidad people working on some projects in Tobago and so on, and now you're saying that you're going to Trinidad to get assistance. I saw a vote on TV6, I should say, the other day, and I mean, 100% of the persons who were polled and submitted their comment, 100% say, in other words, they don't agree with that at all. No. Nonsense. So I don't see that working at all. But I feel there's hope for this island, and I feel that we should still give these people a chance and to see what they can do. There's 3 more years to correct some of your mistakes and to look solidly ahead to the future. There's opportunities. They're fortunate to have, like many assemblies before, administration before, committed people, talented people, resourceful people within there, you know, and right through different levels of resourcefulness and capabilities in the assembly. I feel they should capitalize on that and have a system where you can reach the people, communicate with the people, build back a party. And I am not saying that you should rush to build back a party, no, because there's no law that mandates that you have to be in a party, you know, to be in the House of Assembly.
Loud and clear.
Build back the thing, communicate with the people, have a system of communicating. When I was a member of the Tobago Information Technology, I was chairman there, we set up a system because San Fernando had a similar situation. San Fernando City Corporation, where they're communicating where problems were not reaching them to act upon.
Right.
We set up a system, we met with them, and right at that same office in Signal Hill, 211 at the contact center, we created a system where all complaints, questions, and matters coming to Port of Spain, San Fernando City Council, you know, came through 211. We put it in what you call a ticket and send it to the appropriate people at the thing. And we tell them that you have to give us a response because the people are going to call back in a few hours or days.
Right.
And that was done. So something like that could be done to facilitate the THA and Chief Secretary and others getting information from the community and getting feedback, you know.
Yes. In the words of Jamila Amin Bacchus, if it does not get monitored, it does not get done.
Exactly.
And we're going to leave it there. But I want to thank you for being on the program with us. We trust that you will be back again. Certainly, we'd love to have you back again on the program. All right. So, all the best to you this morning, Jerry McFarland.
Thanks for being here.
Viewers, lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates morning show. Coming up just after the break, we will be chatting with Brendan Gray, chairman of Let the People Speak. And it's a forum that he'll tell us more about. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. It's 7:44 a.m. and we just want to send a quick birthday shout out to Cynthia Branch. And I see on the live there, you celebrated earlier this week. We want to wish you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings. Cynthia Branch out there. All right, as we head on into this segment this morning, we are chatting with Brandon Gray. And this morning we're chatting with him in his capacity as chairman for Let the People Speak. All right, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, welcome. Thanks for inviting me, and it's always a pleasure being here.
Excellent.
And I want to, first of all, before we get started, I think it's important that I send out some thank yous. One of those thank yous is to the Tobago update for agreeing to host, be a part of our session today at Ravenel's and doing it on your platforms, various platforms, voluntarily and free. Thank you very much for that. I also would like to extend thank you to Mr. Jason Martin, manager of the Magdalena Grand Beach, and his staff for hosting our first session earlier this month to bring this into perspective, and the Rolox family, Mr. Sylvan Rolox, for contributing for the use of his conference room. I think that is
all right. Certainly getting things started there. And therefore, I want us to jump right in. Based on those thank yous, Let the People Speak the Forum. Tell us, what's this all about?
Well, let's go back a bit. I think it's important that I do that. You would recall that in the THA, the first Chief Secretary, Mr. Ho-Choi Charles' session, Dr. James did prosecute the dispute resolution issue to successful conclusions for Tobago. But that only settled one side of the equation, which is the recurrent expenditure side. Right. We never had an opportunity to pursue the developmental side of the business and the funding of Tobago development side. And so what Dr. James have been pursuing all along is what angle can we articulate this area of our development. And so after doing research over the years, he felt that the tourism sector is the best plank or best area that we can use to build out development strategy for Tobago so that we can have the business sector deriving the benefits through that area. And so that's the meaning of it. And as such, how do we get the people involved? How can we bring the people involved in the whole discussion? So he has designed a program, put it out to the stakeholders earlier, and then he said, the stakeholders said, well, let's bring the people in to have this view and let us hear from them as to what their thoughts are. So that's what the whole issue is about.
All right. Tell us, as we get into the details behind Let the People Speak Forum, who are some of the persons that we are likely to have engagement with or to hear from at this forum?
Well, we first, as I indicated, the tourism sector is the plank on which we want to build out the whole development structure, development strategy. So we'll have Mr. Chris James as one of the panelists. We'll have Miss Haddad, Diane Haddad. And, strange enough, I'd want to make the public know something. A lot of people, I was speaking to a friend yesterday about this same issue. And he was saying, Diane Haddad, but she's a Trinidadian. I said, no, Diane, born in the up Fort George, just like me and you. She's a Tobagonian. That's why she fights for Tobago the way she does. There are a lot of people who feel as though, she's a Tobagonian. So Diane will be there. We have Mr. Patrick Parks, who will be presenting an argument also. And then we hear from the people so we're giving about 2 hours to people's comment to get feedback from the public. And then, obviously, we will be having a wrap-up with Dr. James. We'll wrap up and say whether this is the agreement we're moving forward with to present to the THA and the government as to this is what we are thinking about, and that's where.
And this is Dr. Vanas James.
Dr. Vanas James, yes.
All right. Tell us, when is this scheduled to take place?
Today.
Where is it going to be happening? Yes, just to give us some details.
Okay. It's happening today at Ravenel's Resort. It starts at 3 o'clock. We hope to go until 6 o'clock, but I'm sure we may go a little longer than that. And I must say that what we are hoping to get persons from the diaspora to report, to send in questions, to have their own views. Since you'll be there carrying the issue on your various platform live,
yes,
I would want we would want to get the comments from the diaspora, from those persons who view your system on an ongoing basis. I must say, when I'm in the Bahamas, I do look at the station. I get feedback from Tobago through your system and your platforms. Thank you very much for that.
Excellent. So it takes place today at Ravenel's,
yes,
from 3
to about 6 or thereabouts.
3 to about 6 p.m. And yes, folks, we'll be coming to you live on Tobago Updates in terms of you being able to connect with the information at hand. Is there an open invitation for persons to also attend in person, or it's by invitation?
No, it's open to the public. It's open to all persons who reside in Tobago. We want to hear mainly from the business community, but that does not relate that we would not take anyone. All persons are invited. We would be registering persons so we know what businesses would be there. Let me go in a little bit. Now, I just came off a cruise. I just came from a cruise earlier this month. And when I see what tourism is like in the other Caribbean islands, and I heard Jerry was speaking a while ago about Caribbean Airlines and what it permits. Most of the islands have direct flights to the island. Barbados has direct flights. American Airlines, British Airways, Delta, JetBlue, direct to the island. We do not.
Yes.
So we rely on the transit from Port of Spain. And if Caribbean Airlines, instead of increasing their flights, decreases it, how is that impacting on Tobago? What is the impact of that on our tourism product? Is either we are going to get direct flights to Tobago so that Caribbean Airlines is not relied upon, or Caribbean Airlines does the work that it should do to build the development side of Tobago. That's basically what I heard from Jerry a while ago. Am I right?
Yes, very much so. In terms of being able to make that connection critical between Tobago, and Trinidad. So the focal point that we're looking for the discussion on this evening will be tourism.
Tourism, and how tourism would be the basis on which the private sector will expand. Because obviously building out tourism means your agriculture sector would be built out, your construction sector would be involved, the taxi association will be involved. You know, it impacts on all sectors, and so that it's necessary that we build our situation on that. Now, either that, or we look for reparations, because let's understand the dispute resolution argument showed that Tobago was underfunded.
Yes.
Am I right with that?
Correct. Based on the decision to ensure.
That's right. We were underfunded for a number of years. So should we decide to go reparations, if you were underfunding us for many years, then probably there's need for us to go back into some past years and say, hey, if you were doing this to us, then probably it's necessary for you to pay us that you weren't doing for us before. Am I right with that? So we could seek reparations. But I think that is going to be a real critical and arduous argument to make for any government to agree to. So what we need to do is start from here to see how we can build out our private sector, how we can allow the private sector to take its rightful place in the development of the island. But we need the support of, as Jerry has indicated, Caribbean Airlines or the government to say, or the governing bodies to say, let us have direct flights from wherever to Tobago once we build it out. And I believe the present administration is more poised to do that because they seem to be bold. They've done bold things since they've been in office. And to me, that to say that with them in place, we can determine and build out this whole situation.
And that was my next question to you. How do you see this working hand in hand with what has to be a collective effort in terms of building, driving, and moving our tourism product in a particular direction, and by extension, the development of our economic space here within Tobago?
Well, let's start with the decisions that have been made. One, they are in the present they are looking at town country planning to be returned to Tobago. That's a bold step. That, to me, is very important for us to then start zoning Tobago in a particular way. It sets out the zones. It sets out where we can do things, where we can put certain things, where we can build certain things. That, to me, would send a message to our investors overseas and all over, come and do this. Because I lived in a country named the Bahamas for quite a while, and I see what they did. Because where they are today, it took them about 50 years to get there. But they were bold. So that's the first issue. Then came the decision to have a carnival. Whether it was perfect or whether it was imperfect, that's not the issue where I'm concerned. Where I'm concerned is that a decision was made, an idea. And that idea came into fruition. The idea was implemented and completed. Problems would occur, fine, no problem. They're bold. And because there are lots of people who have ideas in the head.
Correct.
And that's where it be made, in the head. Look at you, Tobago Update. You have implemented something that is catching on throughout the world. So that is what I see. They are bold, and I give them kudos for that.
All right, excellent. So I'm getting the signal in terms of we're just about out of time. But I want to give you an opportunity again, remind our viewers where is this going to take place, the time, later on today, where they can have an opportunity to connect, and any contact information for persons wishing to follow up with you.
That's right. The session is on today. Let the people speak. And be very much important to let the people speak. It's not what we say, it's not what the panelists say, but it's whether what the people say. How do you want this development process to be impacted? And it's on today at Ravenel's resort, starting at, 3 o'clock. It's when it starts. So we're hoping that people will come there before 3 o'clock because we have a registration process. We want to know who came, what area you're from, so that we could follow up with you. And the issue is, come on in, anyone, everyone. I wear several hats, as you know.
Yes.
Tatil.
Never ever worry.
Never worry. Wonderful. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I also wear the hat of an executive of a Belforma Golf Club.
Yeah.
And I believe that too would be a very important area for development in Tobago in the tourism sector. And so we will be putting off all issues forth on that.
All right. Thank you very much there, Brandon Gray, joining us this morning in this capacity.
Before I go, I did give my number. It's 681 0754.
All right. So that's 681 0754, 681 0754. Feel free to make contact with Brandon Gray, Chairman of Let the People Speak, and that forum takes place today at Rovenel's from 3 p.m. You have an opportunity to come and make your contribution with this forum as they prepare and collate all the relevant information, getting perspectives from Tobago. And we will also be carrying it live here on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support. We've got coming up next with us Charlene Waldron Kinlock, registered nurse at the medical hospital there in Florida. We're going to chat with her a little bit about those achievements out there. Tobagonians making us proud indeed. So we want to thank you very much, each and every one of you, for continuing to connect with us. Remember to stay tuned and stay connected. This is the Tobago Updates morning show, and this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we head on into this segment, we are happy to be chatting this morning with Charlene Waldron Kinlock, registered nurse out there in Florida, representing and making us proud. Good morning to you, Charlene.
Good morning.
So, all right, we're not hearing you, so just make sure your mic is not mute. Just make sure to unmute. All right, so go again there first. Just make sure to unmute your mic. All right, we seem to be having some challenges. I believe she's hearing us.
But we're not hearing her.
Yes, but we're not hearing her. And we certainly want to get an opportunity to chat with her a bit this morning, because she is the recipient.
This morning.
I think we're hearing her now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Excellent. Good to have you on set with us this morning, registered nurse at the medical hospital in Florida, representing out there. Good morning to you. Yes, good. All right. Seems like we have some we have some challenges this morning.
Yeah.
But certainly we're seeing congratulations going out to Dr. Charlene Kinlock on being a recipient of the 2022 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. and that was received on December 2, 2022. For me, these are always very proud moments for us here in Tobago.
Very much so. And this is a daughter of the soil. She hails from a whim. We grew up in Open Bible Church, Mount Grace Open Bible Church together. Then she went abroad several years ago. From the information given, you can see she's been abroad for over 20 years.
Yes.
So there she is. I'll tell you, this is certainly a proud moment. She is... she's also a minister, a gospel minister. So she preaches throughout the length and breadth of the U.S. And she's been doing a lot of online or Zoom preaching engagements here in Tobago. So during the pandemic, she had a lot of speaking engagements with different churches here in Tobago as well.
Yes.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
So certainly, I mean, there and you see on screen, for U.S. President and Vice President extending their congratulations for this Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's always a beautiful thing, particularly, Rhea, when we can head out there as Tobagonians, living out there in the diaspora as part of our broader reach and representing and making Tobago proud. And further to that, having opportunities to still be able to give back and to connect with your very own, Tobago here. And that's something that we always most certainly look forward to. And we want to remind all our viewers, for those of you out there connecting, whether in the region, the world at large, please don't keep your achievements to yourself out there. Share it with us. Let's share it with the world. Let's give that reminder to persons, as has been one of the key things we've been looking at, in more recent times and have been reminded of. We've got to build Tobago from those of us here. But you also have a responsibility as persons belonging to the diaspora in terms of making your contribution and really seeking to continue to promote our island, Tobago. And what better way to do it? Most definitely by virtue of your good works.
That's right.
Out there within this space. So very, very, very interesting. And I'm really hoping, that we'll be able to connect with her, to have some, get a little insight from her in terms of further discussions. All right.
All right. So,
yes. So, Rhea, what's on this evening? What's on this evening, Rhea? This evening, folks, we got happening in the mix. That's the USC concert that takes place, as a gentle reminder to persons. It's the University of the Southern Caribbean, and that's the music department. They're hosting the greatest story, Thrill of Hope, and that takes place today, Thursday, from 6 p.m. at Shore Park. Interesting, very interesting. Last evening in particular, I had the opportunity to, get a sneak peek into the rehearsals as I was at Shore Park. And I want to say I am expecting an amazing production to take place coming up this evening. Rhea, I know you would enjoy.
Yes, I'm really hoping to. But these are some days that are really hectic. But certainly, and this is a benefit concert. We need to add that this is a benefit concert. So this is an effort for USC to raise some funds. So we encourage persons to go on out. I mean, you're getting more than $150 worth when you look at the performances on the screen there.
Yes.
All right, you're getting certainly more than $150 worth. If you take each of them by themselves, the value of what they have to offer is way beyond $150, and you get it all.
Correct, very much so. And if I'm not mistaken, the proceeds from this initiative goes back to, in terms of a music scholarship fundraiser, as they have termed it. It goes back to, scholarships and so on, which is definitely a plus. So as you say, it's really the talent coming together to be able to give back under the circumstances. And we want to say kudos and commendations going out there. Remember, you can get your tickets at the Shore Park, box office, USC Tobago campus, Harmon School of SDA. I'm seeing on the lineup here, Dr. Health Foods, Mr. D's Health Foods, Double B Enterprise, that's Bill Bronx Supermarket, Educators, a bookstore, Books and Office Supplies, TLH Building. And you can also get your tickets online at Tova tickets.com, and let me make sure I have that accurate. Yes, you can get your tickets online at TOVA. That's tovatickets.com. The cost is $100 for children and $150 as a general admission in terms of the cost of tickets.
All right. Well, Julian, just before we continue on and before we get ready to wrap up, I just want to make mention here of our youth hosts who continue to do an excellent job every Wednesday.
Certainly.
All right, so that's Dwayne, Luke, and Kaylee. Good morning to you guys. You continue to be a part of the Tobago Updates team, and so we encourage you to keep reaching for the stars. All right, in all that you do.
And I think most certainly anyone would know, I definitely agree. It's so important for us to continue to encourage our young persons far and wide in terms of their continued efforts. And I also want to recognize those who are off with, also involved with studies at the moment, which would be the connections where we would have, including Janae and Aliyah, in terms of getting started in the mix with our Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. So certainly our young people doing great things. And in fact, I want to say, between the combination of our young persons that we would have started with, the youth hosts that we have now, it's always pleasing that up to recently, and I know Director can confirm at one of our recent events that Tobago Updates was at, we are seeing potentials for other young persons out there. Shout outs this morning to Clavia. And we're looking forward to those talents coming forward, because at Tobago Updates, we're really all about seeking to promote as far as possible. While we get the information out there to you, we want to also help with the growth and development of our young persons. And we trust and we ask that you also lend them that same level of support for each and every day here that we come to you as the Tobago Updates morning show. So kudos this morning, and shout out to our young persons and our youth hosts really continuing to fly that flag very high. And I dare say, as our youth host Dwayne would say, the only frequency that has dedicated time each and every week to our young persons. That's in the words of Dwayne. I probably didn't get it like Dwayne very much. All right, but most certainly we want to send kudos out to our young persons this morning.
All right, and to let our viewers know, unfortunately, we were not able to reconnect with Dr. Charlene Waldron Kinlock. However, we will make arrangements later on to have her on. It seems as though something, the internet connection was just not the best this morning. But we thank you again for joining us today. We say have a great day, stay safe. We've got Tobago Notes coming up. Yes. And then we head on over to GMT. And you don't want to miss this program. You don't want to miss this. So Chanel Felix is going to be taking us through. No Candace today. Chanel Felix is going to be taking us through. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live as we say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
For now,
goodbye.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Let's enjoy the celebrations. Bye-bye.
This is the second edition of this competition. It would have started last year in the height of COVID. And as the business development unit, we needed to re-engineer and to still meet our clients. And therefore we came up with what was called the virtual think tank, where we challenge our entrepreneurs to be innovative and come up with creative ways to meet your client even in the midst of COVID.
which currently happens, but I still need to add someone else to my...
We are preparing you to be sharks in a global environment. Because when you're a shark in an aquarium, you can't help but feel big. When you're a shark in a global environment, then you have to compete with things much bigger than yourself. And so the goal that we have for you is that you are to get so big that Tobago cannot contain you.
Some of the other things we do portraits, and this was from one of our portrait treasures.
And so my book and my products are mainly made from
my production capacity that I'm
a unique blend of woodcock, for example, turmeric, which we all know is an anti-inflammatory.
Put my product in the fridge and it can last for 10 years and you come back and eat it fresh. So I see myself serving people more.
Savory Gel arises from homemade dairy beverages and it's concentrated.
How was the experience for you being in the creative Tank Tobago?
So today was a very phenomenal experience for me. It's first time trying to do this public speaking, although we may do it in other events, but I think, facing a crowd and, expressing yourself and your business sometimes become a bit, difficult, but it was an exciting moment and I had fun doing it.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it gets small businesses in Tobago to want to get involved, to put themselves out there, as a lot of our businesses aren't necessarily on the internet, online, have web pages. So I think all of this kind of gets people excited, wanting to get involved, and then obviously makes it easier for you to learn how to sell in front of a crowd, which is important.
And there you have it. We've come to the end of another edition of the Business Development Unit Creative Tank Tobago. We saw a lot of wonderful Tobago-based businesses on showcase today, and it's all about supporting quality. Even though they're locally produced, they are of international standard. So from Shaw Park, I'm Ryan McCool reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if you're nice can't be damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tata will always be here for you.
Tattle, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Rest assured helped me to cope with the unexpected. Provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattle Life, guaranteed protection.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denise here. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hail my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, Tobago, and good morning to our wider viewing audience. Guys, you already know. Good morning, Tobago. This is where we have the conversation to get your morning started. It's always an interesting time when you see me here on either Tuesday or Thursday. And this morning is like no other. This morning we're going to get into some things, right? We're talking about this viral video that was posted yesterday on social media that kind of exposed, if you will, some of the stuff that we see happening at TADCO. We had Mr. Roland Murray, who is the president of the Goldsboro Farming Association, putting out there that some of the items that we see being delivered through the food box initiative from the Division of Agriculture was not necessarily from Tobago farmers. Now, we're going to hear a lot about this from him, and we're also going to hear from the chairman of the Tobago Agro Business Development Company, TADCO, Mr. Ricardo Alfred, after he would be on as well. But this morning, the conversation is surrounding agriculture and what is happening in that arena here in Tobago. And so this morning, I have the pleasure of having two distinguished gentlemen here on set with me this morning. I have with me Mr. Roland Murray, who is the president of the Goldsboro Farming Association, and Mr. Tyrone Moses, who is the president of the Tobago Agriculture Society. Now, the guys would have brought this issue to the fore via social media, and they are here this morning to delve a little deeper into that, not so? Yes. So, Mr. Murray, I want to start off with you. You have been one of those individuals in the agriculture space who many might deem to be a bit controversial, as you are not afraid to speak your mind from time to time. Now, this debacle, as we might call it, did not just start yesterday. We saw you having interviews on other television stations where you would have indicated that, you know, Tobagonians should reject this food box initiative, which is a very strong statement to be made, especially seeing that the initiative is targeted towards the poor and underprivileged in the society. So you have sent a call out to Tobagonians to reject this. So tell us a bit more about yourself first, and then about why you are here to discuss this food box initiative.
Okay, good morning, Tobago. Good morning to the viewers. Good morning to you. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm happy, very happy to be here today to highlight this, and as you say, to get a little deeper into it. Now, my name is Roland Murray. I'm the farmer of the Goldsboro Farmers Association. It's a farming district in Tobago East. I have been the president for about the past 6 years. Yeah. And I'm presently involved in crop farming on the pig farm road in Goldsboro. Now, you said that I was controversial, or I was asking Tobagonian to reject the initiative. I am not asking Tobagonian to reject the initiative. The initiative is a great initiative being put by, I remember some months ago, the chief secretary had came on the air and said he was going to put this initiative in place to help assist farmers, even like me, who would be selling on the roadside and them things. And lo and behold, when it reached down, the initiative reached down to this, we get to realize now that no way the farmers is involved in it. So we've been, clamoring for the farmers to be involved in this food distribution, this food box. Well, I really know it to be hamper, but they change up the name to food box, right? And it's a half empty box too. Full box, a half empty box.
Mr.
So
Murray,
yes,
on
yes.
your Facebook post, you explicitly said to Tobagonians, we must reject this. So tell us what you mean by that.
We must reject. All right. Well, I have the box here. We must reject things like this: Dasheen Flour, Nouveau Farm, right? The company that was contracted to provide the most of these items that is in this box for Tobagonians. This is what we coming up against.
Okay.
The products that came from Trinidad. We don't want no products. We asking to reject the products from Trinidad because let me tell you something. We last night I got a call from a young lady who doing the same Dasheen flour and she was crying. She had me on the phone for real long, crying. I said, girl, we go stand up for you. Don't be afraid. She processed this flour. And she said Tadco haven't taken not even an ounce from she to put in this box. And she was real hurt.
Okay. And question, do you know the process that happens with Tadco to allow for farmers and producers on the island to get their items into the box? Do you know what the process is?
Well, we don't have an idea of the process. We just heard months ago, mind you, I heard this was coming on stream. And I was following it and waiting on the time that it happened. And no farmer, no consultation have taken place with the farmers in Tobago. And I am not talking on my behalf. I am talking on the behalf of farmers in Tobago. The president of the Tobago Agriculture Society is here, Mr. Tyrone Moses. He have never been contacted. The society have never been contacted. Well, he will explain that part.
Right. But Mr. Murray, it's my understanding that you have the personal number for the Secretary of Agriculture. Is that so?
Yes.
Okay. And so knowing that an initiative like this is coming on, I heard you say in previous interviews that you indeed did contact her.
I did contact her.
Right. And then the next day you were on an interview talking about
Yeah.
it. So what timelines would you have given the division to be able to get back to you or even to reach out to your association?
The timeline. Right? The timeline for this initiative was from since it had been put in place. I have video clippings with the secretary along with the assistant secretary and thing in Trinidad, right? In meetings because they had posted it. I have it on my phone right now, where they were having consultation meetings with this Nouveau people. And they had never had no consultation with us, the farmers in Tobago. Because let me tell you something. This is cut up Dasheen, right? We could cut up Dasheen in Tobago. This is Greater Cassava, Nouveau Farm. All the labels are here.
Right.
Nouveau Farms. This is the most Greater Coconut. And let me add this before you ask me a next question. There is a building that was constructed on the Cow Farm Road, right at the junction in Goldsboro. This building is a ozonated building, right? The equipments are here to outfit that building. The equipment to grind these things and to make, like, all right, I have our next thing from Nouveau here. This is sweet potato chips, right? This machine could grind 350 kilograms of cassava plus plantain per hour. That machine is in Shaw Park right now. I'm telling you.
Okay. Mr. Moses, tell the people of Tobago a little bit more about yourself and the Agriculture Society.
My name is Tyrone Moses. I'm the president of Tobago Agricultural Society. The main purpose of the Agricultural Society is to create linkages between different agents in the agriculture sector in Tobago and to try to do everything in our power to develop the agricultural sector, do things that will help to empower farmers and build the capacity of the farmers in Tobago, try to make life easier for them to get resources and that kind of stuff.
Okay, and how closely does your association work with the current Division of Agriculture?
Well, whenever they have consultation, they will call upon the society to have some kind of representation to make suggestions and recommendations.
And why did you feel the need to come here this morning to discuss this food box initiative?
Well, after the first interview that they would have had with Mr. Alfred, that is, well, I didn't see the interview. I didn't know of the interview. I received a call from Mr. Alfred, but I didn't know what was happening, right? And he didn't say much, but he mentioned Mr. Murray, right? And I said, but you know, you have our support, right? You have our support, because on several occasions, I would have gone to some of the cassava consultation. There was one they were invited us, and I got the information, and I myself would have called TATCO's technical field officer and made recommendations of names of farmers who were interested. I told them they can contact the farmers. I gave their numbers to some farmers who are interested. You can contact them, right? And these were farmers who would have had the resources, the land already, in order to be able to do this, right? Because, for example, the cassava production, one of the things is that they want to engage farmers who already have. Unfortunately, in Tobago, most of our farmers don't really have. We don't have.
Okay. What was the program? That was where they were assisting that was cassava.
That was the first consultation to engage farmers who are interested in entering that contractual arrangement.
Okay.
So farmers were very excited about it. I remember they were excited. You know, they brought an agronomist from Trinidad. He spoke, he showed about the type of production that, with proper training, farmers will be able to yield.
Okay.
But at the end of the consultation, people demonstrate that we are excited, we are interested.
However, it a consultation or was it a workshop?
Was a consultation, right? And at the end of that consultation, farmers said, you know, we are interested. And someone asked, is TATCO going to make provisions for us to get the land to do this kind of production, right? And what they said is, oh yeah, you know, the farmers who are interested, you know, sign up the form with the contact information. And TATCO said, well, you know, once you are interested, they will help provide the necessary resources. They might give priority to, you know, the tractor pool thing to get all of these things done. However, in the absence of the setting of the land management committee, then it is not possible for farmers to get land.
Okay.
And without land, for a lot of crops that we need to produce, we are unable to produce these.
Okay. So
these
are
crops.
you saying that the reason why we do not have the capacity here among farmers in Tobago is because of the absence of that land usage committee?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the inability for farmers to produce to that maximum capacity is not only the absence of the committee. It is the absence of, I will say, the Division of Agriculture to provide farmers with the necessary resources to build their capacity.
Okay.
Proper training. After you have training, you have follow through. You need resources. You know, we have a tractor pool division. They purchased some new tractors recently because for years farmers have been clamoring and asking, and they're saying that they did an application for the tractor pool to come, and tractor pool ain't come. I mean, they have their mechanical challenges. However, one moment. However, they would have purchased some new equipment recently. And there's an excavator at the division office. There's one excavator, 3 tractors parked up there, and farmers are in need of these things. And I mean, that's just one area, right? You need to have a proper development plan for agriculture in Tobago. I would have been, in my research, I would have been reading and looking around, and I was looking at the fiscal budget for 2023 by the Chief Secretary. And I was looking to see where they would have made provisions for food. And in that document, there were 2 references to food. One was on page 11, where they mentioned food. It was 2 paragraphs only. And the other reference was on page 30, about 3 pages, where they spoke about food security and sovereignty. However, there was no clear outline as to how they intend to develop the agricultural sector in Tobago. So I don't think the problem is necessarily TATCO, but the problem is the absence of a plan to develop the agricultural sector in Tobago. And in developing the agricultural sector in Tobago, I think we must also consider doing it very closely with the tourism sector in light of the fact that our economy is based on that tourism.
Excellent. And I know that there were a number of recommendations that came out of the roadmap to recovery plan that was done by the previous administration, right? Are you aware of those plans and whether or not they are being implemented at this particular time? Because you said there's absence of plans, but we know that there have been a number of agriculture strategies that have been done over the past years.
Right.
But do you know of their implementation?
Right. In a recent conversation with some farmers, a farmer would have mentioned that during the Kelvin Charles administration regime, he would have set up a committee to develop something. However, one, it was not completed, right? And I would have asked, in fact, I didn't ask, someone had asked if there is a copy of what was developed. And the conversation came to a halt. So my thing is, I will continue to say in the absence of a plan, because if there is a plan, then we should be able to see some kind of documentation that we can follow. So if the division has a plan, let the farmers see what the plan is. Once we know what your vision is, we can work together towards something. If we do not know what the vision is, then we are unable to work towards that goal.
I totally agree with you, and I think that that should be the position of the division, to distribute whatever plans they do have to the farmers, because they are a major stakeholder in this. You also indicated the lack of training, right? But the same dasheen and cassava farmers, did they recently have training where they were trained to increase their yield and their crops right after that same consultation that you were talking about before? And how does that positively or negatively impact the industry?
All right. So in that consultation, it was made clear the farmers who are interested in entering that contractual arrangement, training will be provided to them.
Okay.
Right? Now, my thing is, if you develop the human resource, develop that capacity, develop our mindset, provide the training, provide the resources, and begin productivity to maximize the productivity in whatever area, dasheen, cassava, root crops, whatever. Once you develop the capacity and you begin to maximize the production, TATCO will be now in a position to negotiate for the lowest prices. But if I take you on a contract, then I'm sticking with you with that price. But if I develop the entire human resource, I could say, hey, farmer X is offering me this at so-and-so price, so-and-so poundage. I'm going to go with them. Can you do better? But if that is not done, how are you developing the capacity? Because remember, while TATCO is agro-business, our aim should be to develop the agricultural sector in Tobago, not just for contractual basis. In addition to that, I would have spoken with one or two persons from the agro-processors, the industry, and they would have said that the Dean TATCO should focus more on the development. Okay. So now we have agro-processors here in Tobago who are being challenged, right? Because TATCO is now their competitor. Because if you are TATCO and you are from the division and you are bringing in things from Novo Farms, right? Then what room are you leaving for the local agro-processors to develop?
Okay, and that's where my next question comes in. Mr. Murray, what is your understanding of the relationship between TATCO and Novo Farms?
Well, we've been doing some research. As you can see here, we have a pile of documents, but we haven't completed the research that we're doing. But one of the things what we really like Mr. Ricardo and Mr. Dillon to answer when they come on is how much money have been put into the hands of Nuvo? What is the contractual arrangement with this Nuvo company in Trinidad? These are some of the questions we are asking. No,
Okay.
this
Well,
is what
that's
we
why
want
I
to
asked
find
if
out.
you knew what the
We don't know.
You don't
They
know
have
what the
never
relationship
disclosed.
is. Because after we had discussed with the division yesterday, it is our understanding that what Nuvo does is just the processing and the packaging.
Yeah.
However, the crop themselves that you're seeing in those bags actually come from Tobago farmers. This is the claim of the division
Who are the
of
farmers in
agriculture.
Tobago? We've been, listen to me, I am the president for the Grosbo Farmers Association. I lived in Grosbo presently. There isn't one, I have, in my association, there are 25 financial permanent members. Not one of, and Grosbo is known to be one of the bigger farming areas in Tobago. Not one of my farmers have been contacted concerning anything in these packages. Listen to me. I have went to the farmers in Argyle because this thing come here to blabber my mouth where they're trying to say I line and them thing. No farmer in Argyle was being contacted. No farmer in Golden Lane, Lekitu have been contacted. No farmer in Shaw Park. So I would like them to tell us who are the farmers.
Yeah.
They got
and we
these
do have
things
Mr.
from.
Alfred
And
coming
listen
on
me,
after, so he
listen
would
me,
be able to
there,
clarify
as I
that.
said before, there are machines in Tobago that can process these things, and there are a lot of process. And the next person I'm calling out, I'm calling on the director for the processors, Mr. Dale Lovelace. I want him to come and to explain to the people who are the people because he are the one in charge of processors. Not Mr. Owen Dillon. Mr. Owen Dillon responsible to contact the farmers and them thing. He's the director in the area. He had never contacted me. I'm the president. He have never contacted Mr. Moses, who is the general body over all the farmers association. So we want to know who are the farmers they got these from. We want to know how much money been injected into Nuvo Farm. And these are just some of the questions that we want
I
to
would
know.
have the opportunity to ask them those questions as soon as you guys leave the set. I actually wish that we were in a situation where everyone could have been around the table at the same time and have them answer the questions.
Yeah. If it will be nice, to see whatever the memorandum of understanding that was signed, right, between Nuvo and TATCO. It would be nice for us to have a view of that so we can go through it with a fine teeth comb to understand what are the benefits to farmers in Tobago. What are the benefits to Tobago on a whole? Because this is not just about agriculture. This is about the livelihood and the legacy of Tobago. So whatever is done, even if TATCO is making money, if Tobagonians are losing finance and their lifestyle, then essentially it's not a win situation. It's a loss situation because it's your legacy, it's my legacy, and it's the viewer's legacy we're talking about.
Yes. Mr. Murray, health and safety where food is concerned is a big priority. You know that because of know, the area that you work in. A lot of questions came from the video that you posted on how you handle the food, with your bare hands and just the way in which you would have handled the bags that are to be distributed to Tobagonian homes. A lot of people saw it and they asked, okay, why is he dealing with the food like that if they are supposed to be distributed to poor families? What do you have to say concerning the video that you posted?
Well, to be honest, right, when somebody have a passion for something, sometimes I get a little emotional and everything, but that ain't no excuse. These supposed to be vacuum seal parcels. So talking about handling, how I handle it and everything, that is a non-issue. This is supposed to be vacuum seal, sanitized and these things, right? These supposed to be on a certain temperature to remain, in a certain temperature because they are processed things and if you say they are melting quite easily and everything, right? So, because, all right, look for instance, the chicken that people purchase, when these trucks come around with these chicken, they may not be tossing them bag of chicken from one end to the next. I go down there and see that happening. I do eat chop chicken, because of the handling of these things, So you have no issue with how I hold them and how I handle them and them things. The main issue is who are the farmers these things came from We are still calling on the person in charge, the director, Mr. D. Lovelace, to come and see who are the processors, who are the farmers he got these things from.
Okay.
That is the issue.
Based on our conversation with the division, they indicated that this food box initiative is a partnership between Nouveau Farms, Tobago farmers, and Carreri, who does safety testing on all the livestock and all the stocks that they send down to Trinidad. They do lab testing and then they send it to Nouveau Farms to have them packaged. So if this is the process whereby they are taking the crops from Tobagonians, they're taking it to Carreri, Carreri is testing, and then they're taking it to Nouveau, Nouveau is packaging and processing and sending it back to Tobago. This is the process that they have indicated to us. Are you aware of that?
I heard about that. But listen, me, I'm trying to find some information.
Yeah.
Right? Some information on this building I spoke about earlier in Gosbro. This ozonated building is a highly sanitized building. I think they have said is one of a kind in the Caribbean. This building have COVID-free doors in Gosbro that you don't have to touch the doors to open it. You know. These doors, you walk right through, the doors open, automatic and everything. It's a highly sanitized building. So you do have nothing like Tobago can't afford that kind of sanitizing and testing and them thing. We have that technology in Tobago.
Yes. And so you guys came here this morning basically to hold TATCO accountable.
And let me tell you something. We are calling on this TATCO board to be dismantled and to have a fresh board installed. This board, this Ricardo gentleman and Mr. Owen Dillon, I am free to call them out, you know, because I know they are doing their own thing. Let me give you one little history about this processing thing. I was supplying a young lady with plantain, okay? She doing this processing thing. And I was giving she like 200 pounds per week. She told me that TATCO came to her, visit her and see what she's doing. And they decided to give she a contract. So I will have to step up in my game to supply she because she will need like about 1,000 pounds a dasheen or planting and them thing whatnot. And I didn't hear from she for about 2 weeks. And then she called me and she said, Murray, I wouldn't be taking no planting again from you. TATCO came to me and they told me that they will take the planting from you. They asked you where she getting she planting. She said she getting she planting from Maureen Gosbo. Right? TATCO tells she they will take the planting from me, peel it, cut it up, and bring it to she to do the processing. I have never get a call from TATCO up to today. And the girl have never take a pound of planting from me again. And last night, that same young lady called me and was crying when she saw that video to see that not a ounce of her dasheen flour or planting flour was in this box. That said the young lady. I've never heard from TATCO.
Well, I would be sure to make sure and ask the difficult questions when
I've never
Mr.
heard from
Alfred
TATCO.
and Mr. Dillon gets here this morning.
Mr. Dillon and Mr. Alfred have never contacted me as the president for the Gosbo Farmers Association. And they have never contacted nobody in Gosbo. And I want to know why. Because when I spoke to the secretary, when I did the interview on the next station, the secretary told me she was going to call Mr. Alfred and let him give me a call immediately. Up to now, Mr. Alfred have never called my number. And the secretary have my number. And I'm sure she would have given him my number.
Right. In the beginning of our interview, you indicated that this is really a great initiative.
It's a great initiative.
Yeah, but you have a box. So are you robbing someone of a box?
No. I will, I just borrowed this box from somebody. Somebody loaned me the box.
Somebody loaned you?
Somebody loaned me this box to come here this morning.
May I add something?
No problem.
No, I don't want the viewing audience or even yourself or persons in the studio to believe that Mr. Murray is targeting TATCO. He's not targeting TATCO, right? On the larger scale of things, right? I would like to share something. In 2021, St. Vincent and the Grenadines would have experienced the eruption of a volcano around April or so, right? And within an 8-month period, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, through our agriculture revitalization plan, was able to export over 40 products, tubers, greens, fish, and that kind of stuff, right? In an 8-month period, they were able to do that, right? And that was because they had a plan for agriculture. Now, prior to that eruption, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I'm using that because in context of what we are speaking, it's the same kind of people, our diet is about the same, the cultural context is the same. Soil is similar. Now, prior to that, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, their focus would have been on developing their systems for tourism and infrastructure, developing airports, right? And accommodations for tourists, which is similar to what we are doing here. Currently, we have that airport development going on down there. That's what we are working towards. We have talks about hotels being built here and there. We are going on the same road. It is only after that eruption of that volcano, they said, hey, we going down the wrong road. Now, don't get it wrong, they have been producing significantly. Because if you go to Trinidad in that CARICOM docks, a lot of the food that comes into Trinidad and Tobago comes from there. However, after that eruption, they would have developed a revitalization plan. And today, in 2022, January, St. Vincent and the Grenadines were able to export to over 16 different countries, 40 different products. United States being their largest importer. And coming behind United States, guess it's who? Trinidad and Tobago. Barbados coming third. Now, why is it? St. Vincent and the Grenadines is about 398 square kilometers. Tobago is about 300 square kilometers. The population is almost the same. Why is it that they are able to do that and we are their biggest importer? Something is critically wrong there.
And I do not think that it's a lack of planning or a lack of having a plan, but a lack of the implementation and consultation.
Well, you can't implement if you don't have a plan.
As I said, I don't think it's because of a lack of planning. Because we've had a number of committees over the years. We spent thousands of dollars on having committees put together to put plans together, especially in the area of agriculture. So we don't have necessarily a planning problem, I see. We have an implementation problem.
And let me tell you something. I can tell you for a fact, our Secretary of Agriculture, she would have visited some farms where these farmers are established in a particular type of crop production, and she would have tried to encourage them, hey, plant some cassava now. If I'm a farmer doing a particular type of crop, I have developed the skill, the capacity, the know-how, the experience. Instead of convincing me to do what you want, build my capacity, allow me to train. And of course, you can build on other things because guess what? Based on all the documentation I've been seeing so far, what I've been seeing, there could be more, but what I've been seeing, TATCO's main focus is producing flour. This is an article from the Express from Novo Life, right? And the financial plan for the fiscal year 2023 from the Chief Secretary, when they spoke about on page 30 going down, they spoke about TATCO and producing flour. Flour is not food.
Yeah,
for
but
one moment,
do you think
flour
that
is only one aspect of food, and while agro-processing is good because it adds value, it adds shelf life, right?
But we see a number of different items coming out of TATCO. We see they having jams. We see a lot of different things outside of the flour.
If we do not have the primary product, then producing those things will become expensive. And if producing those things become expensive, then the poor person, the average person, will not be able to buy the processed product.
Yes, but you say that you indicated that you believe that TATCO's main focus is on producing flour only.
Well,
we will allow them to come and clarify.
They have chicken
that as well.
in their list and they have some other stuff. But based on the documentation, a lot of focus is going on the flour. But what we have to focus on is providing the resources so that farmers can produce. We do have lands. Farmers do have lands.
Understood. We see much more than just flour coming out of TATCO, you must admit.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
Mr. Murray, I see you pulling your files here.
Right. I just want to read something about this building in Griswold that could do. I could prepare these things, right? It's a ozone powerful disinfecting agent, more effective and safe than chlorine. Chemical-free sanitizing of food, fresh fruits and vegetables, fish, food surfaces, right? Extend shelf life of food, destroy bacteria, mold, and parasites. Factory set up to use ozonated water that is in Goldsboro.
Okay.
Machine capable of grinding 350 kilograms of cassava flour and planting per hour, right?
And you said this is what they are setting up at this time?
Modern factory COVID complaint touchless doors. This building is in Griswold,
right.
condemning.
It's being set up at this
This
time?
building was commissioned last year, December, and I've never used. They shut it down, and they go on to Trinidad, to Novo, who have one of the same kind of system. We have it here in Tobago.
Right.
Why can't we use it in Tobago? We was put on standby by the last TADCO board, right? The previous TADCO board, to produce the planting and cassava and potato to supply this planting. And that's crap. As far as we see that scrap, right now we are upset about Novo coming in. We can do this in Tobago. This is Tobago business. This is not about Novo. I know the box. Yesterday, I want to correct something. I might talk about the bread. I want to be fair.
The bread was made in Tobago.
From Mason Hall in Tobago. Okay?
Yeah.
And I want to correct that.
Okay.
I was called last night and told that the bread. So I want to be fair. It's not that I just want to come and say this and that and the other. You see the things with the Novo label. This is what I'm querying. Okay. This is a corn soup pack with corn in it. I am one of the biggest corn farmers in Tobago. Right now, Griswold producing real corn. The Baldios, the Barneys and them on the stretch all over Griswold is corn.
But Mr. Murray, don't you think when you post these type of videos and stuff, right, it could deteriorate your relationship with the division moving forward?
Well, let me tell you something. A lot of people in Tobago doesn't want to come out and speak out because Tobago have a kind of hush mouth syndrome that if you talk out, you wouldn't get this and you wouldn't get that and them thing. I am a self-employed entrepreneur. I have built my own empire. I don't have to keep my mouth shut to get something from the. I had supported this administration. I'm still in support of them, but if things are not going right, if things are going against the farmers, I represent a certain percentage of farmers. Mr. Tyrone represent the whole body of farmers in Tobago. If we see something affecting us, we are to come out and talk.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like you should definitely utilize that relationship that you have with the secretary to let her know how you feel about these things.
But they are not coming to us.
Understood.
They are not coming to us.
Understood. I wish we had more time to delve into this, but I need to talk to the CEO of TADCO to have your questions asked, right? So as soon as you guys leave here, we would have all those questions asked. Guys, don't be afraid
how much money being injected into Novo, and why is not the building in Goldsboro being utilized?
We will be sure to ask those questions right after the break.
Why are the farmers not being contacted?
See you guys after the break.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
Spread Christmas joy and cheer with a loan from Lambo Credit Union this year. Get 100% financing for shopping, home renovations, furniture and appliances, debt consolidation and much more. Did we mention no payments until the end of January 2023? Get the most flexible repayment periods and the best interest rates around. Call 639-5060 to book your appointment today. Or visit us on Facebook or Instagram. Wishing you a happy holiday from Lambo Credit Union. And remember, we are always here for you.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago here on Tobago Updates. Now this morning, if you have just joined us, then you missed a treat because we just had Mr. Roland Murray, who is the president of the Goldsboro Farmers Association, along with Mr. Tyrone Moses, who is the president of the Tobago Agriculture Society. And they have been making a call for greater consultation with farmers and the farming society. And Mr. Murray was sure to clear up that he's not telling Tobagonians to reject this initiative. However, he is encouraging TADCO to be more inclusive of Tobago farmers and Tobago crops where these boxes are concerned. Now, it would not be right if we were to just sit here and talk to Mr. Murray and Mr. Moses without allowing them to have their questions answered. As you saw before the break, if you have been with us this morning, he was adamant to make sure that I ask these questions when we have Mr. Alfred and Mr. Dillon return. Welcome. And sit with us on set. And I have the privilege of now sitting with Mr. Ricardo Alfred, who is the chairman of the Tobago Agro-Business Development Company, TADCO, and Mr. Owen Dillon, who is the director of Crop Tobago Agribusiness Development Company. Right? And we have the guys here, and I'm going to be asking those questions. And I know they sat and they heard Mr. Murray and Mr. Moses asking those questions. So I'm sure that you guys are well aware of what is being asked. Now, one of the pertinent issues that he has been discussing this morning and even on his social media page is the inclusion of Tobago farmers where this TADCO Nouveau Farm relationship is concerned. So before we even go any further into the discussion, I would like for you, Mr. Alfred, to kind of explain to Tobago and Tobagonians, you know, globally, what is the relationship that TADCO currently has with Nouveau Farms?
Right. So first, I want to really thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to really explain ourselves and to deal with the issues that came out of an individual and his issues. What I would want to say to Tobago is that there's no other entity right now on the island that provides more training, more consultation as relates to farmers and agro-processors. What I would also want to say to Tobago, since you have the Tobago Food Box Initiative, is that the food box consists of, there's no fresh produce coming out of Trinidad. The food box consists of the Tobago person who is doing the bread. I don't want to call these people names, but it's from Tobago. The mash, the cassava mash, which comes from the different cassava farmers. Right now, yesterday, we were supposed to receive over 600 pounds of cassava from one individual. That comes from Tobago. The chicken that the gentleman said that came from Trinidad, that was tossed about with his hands and stuff like that. And I also want to speak to the gap analysis, but I will get to that as well. Comes from Tobago. The pork that we have in the box as well comes from Tobago. The flour is a joint arrangement that we have with Novo. It is our flour. We have decided not to sell the flour in Tobago. And I am quite amazed, actually, that an individual such as the person that you had on set before, you know, was able to rant and rave and talk about stuff into that. It's not to kind of defame the company in a very negative way. We have met with so much different farmers, so much different agro-processors, so much, I mean, the mix that we are doing with the waffle mix and all these things are Tobago people.
But Mr. Murray claims to have a wide network throughout Tobago among farmers.
Well, I can't,
and he indicated that none of the farmers that he knows were contacted. So can you speak
I can't comment on persons' comments, you know. I don't want to comment. I can only comment on what the facts are.
Right.
We have to remember one thing in Tobago here, right? That when you're dealing with food, right? I was quite appalled by the manner in which the individual handled the food. I saw the video, boxes on the ground, things allowed to throw out, people using their hand, and then they are talking about vacuum seal. Let me explain to you what GAP is. That is good agricultural practice. Using of gloves, washing of hands, masks, correct knitting. All of our persons who were in the distribution yesterday had on these things. No point did TADCO bring up any truck from Trinidad to go to any village. The Food Bucket Initiative is as an initiative by the Tobago House of Assembly that was passed by the Executive Council. You have the different area reps will send 3 persons to come and pack the boxes. We were just there to supervise and make sure that they do whatever they do. I am not responsible for when the stuff leave the compound and go whatever. But I am hoping that the relevant health inspectors could really look into this matter. Because that poor handling of those packages, right? I don't think people understand what contamination is, you know. I don't know if the gentleman just went to the toilet. I don't know if he just came from the farm. Understand what happened yesterday, you know. We better understand how serious this is, you know. And I'm quite appalled, actually. But he would have made some concerns that we would have going to be taken a bit step further as in terms of our legal department and stuff like that, because I believe the company was defamed. I believe that there's a lot of untruth coming out of it. If I were to respect persons as farmers, if I were to explain to Mr. Dillon is a farmer that has surpassed every aspect of farming. Mr. Dillon has moved from farming into the restaurant business. He has evolved himself, he has elevated himself and pushed himself out there. Mr. Dillon is an agricultural expert.
And Mr. Dillon, you came in here, you gave me the eye, and you let me know it's a serious business this morning. So tell us, regarding the request from Mr. Murray to have transparency where farmers are concerned so that they know who the farmers are that are getting the contracts to provide some of these crops to TADCO. Do you see that there is a need for transparency where that is concerned?
Let me start by saying good morning and thank you for having me
Good morning.
This morning. It's a pleasure being here again. Let me start off by saying, when I became director the early part of this year, the first thing I set out to do was to have farmers train. I coordinated a training workshop with more than 100 individuals in the East, exactly in the East. And the reason for that was to have farmers being aware exactly what is expected of them as farmers as we walk along together going forward. That's the first thing I set out to do. It was real supportive. We brought in agronomists from Trinidad, and I set the platform. We have a TADCO database based on the people who have been trained, other people who are wrong before, who are doing what and about what is available. One of the major challenges in the island right now is the capacity of the farmers. When it make it even worse at this point in time, this year was one of the worst years in terms of the weather condition, in terms of rain. A lot of the farmers, you contact them, I don't have this, I do have that, because I wasn't able to plant because of the weather. I couldn't get the land prepared on time and that kind of stuff. So it is a challenge, and we understand that. However, we continue to work with farmers to develop them to go forward. The board would have took a concerted effort when we were aware of this food box initiative that was decided to go about by the THA. The board will have to take a decision. Listen, we try to inquire exactly what is on the ground at this point in time, and when we realize the challenge on the ground, we realize it's a challenge to get the food from Tobago at this point in time. So we decided for the first 2 or 3 months, we're going to partner, we're going to take some of the products from Trinidad, some from Tobago to go forward, and in 2 months' time, based on how the weather changed, we're going to take more from Tobago to continue the project. That was the plan. Now we have this big issue with the food box.
So I want to make it clear. So currently the boxes that we have, it is a combination between crops from Trinidad and crops from Tobago?
They are value-added products. Let me understand it clear. They are value-added products from Trinidad, value-added products from Tobago. The fresh products in the box are pork and chicken that were produced in Tobago.
Along with the bread.
Along with the bread in Tobago.
So stuff like the pumpkin and the corn soup pack and stuff like that, did that come from Trinidad or Tobago?
Yes, they were processed in Trinidad.
The crops themselves came from Trinidad as well? Okay.
From Trinidad, from Trinidad.
And this is based on what, the lack of capacity?
We don't have the produce at this point in time. We don't have the produce in Tobago at this point in time.
Because Mr. Murray would have stated that he has real corn up there in Goldsboro, so...
Let me explain something to you. And this is one of the challenges with Tobago farmers. Even some of the business, the problem with Tobago is the consistency in the supply of a product. They'll have this week, they'll have next week, and they wouldn't even come until they don't have for the second week, and that's it. They jump out of the program and then they go on the plan to come again. There's no consistency in the production system of the farmers. That need to be developed.
But I mean, from what I'm hearing, as I analyze what you guys are saying and what has been said before, it seems to be a communication issue, and that there's not a very good communicative relationship between the two entities.
I want to treat with that as well.
I'll allow you to.
My phone is always on charge. Anybody who knows me, I'm always on the phone. Somebody is always calling me, right? But I'll put it out there again for persons who wish to contact me. Mr. Tyrone, who I have a lot of respect for, spoke about the MOU. My number is 684-3487. If you want to go, you can come to me. We go through the MOU. For anybody who wants to go through this MOU,
do you see the need to publicize that? Do you see the need to put it out into the public space?
It was already out in the public space. He asked for it, right? And I have no problem. It's not mine. It's for the people. What persons have to understand, when people bring their personal grievance into a space where it's supposed to fulfill, because all I heard today was I was almost thinking it's a reggae song, you know. And I am wondering to myself, we have to build collectively. You would have been seeing what we're doing with the Capital of Paradise. The idea really is not from Ricardo, Alfred, or Mr. Dillon, or the board to whatever. The idea is to push Tobago, that brand. What we are doing with all the different aspects of the different who is doing our bread. Excellent person. And to hear him coming to apologize now, but I believe the damage was done already. Sometimes
I can understand that, but do you then see the need for more or greater consultation or having a greater relationship with these associations?
What I'm trying to say, ma'am, is that the consultation is there, but you realize that he would have started by saying that something about planting. We don't. I have never seen planting on the shelf in Tadco. We don't buy planting. We buy the waffle mix, the plantain stuff from the person.
Yes, that is what he was talking about. The fact that he provides the plantain to the young lady who does the plantain flour.
So what persons have to understand? I don't know. Mr. Dillon can speak about that whole NAMDEF quote. I think people need to bring that in clarity as to what happened with that program.
Mr. Dillon, please explain to us what type of production is coming out of Tadco and what is the main focus where production is concerned.
Okay. Cassava, one of the products we have identified early because we realized that there is a demand for the cassava and the value-added products. And there was a great demand by our counterparts in Trinidad. So we decided we're going to push cassava locally and we're going to push it and we're going to sell the flour to Trinidad because there's already a market for it. So we train farmers, we brought in consultants and we talked to the farmers, brought in agronomists, talked to the farmers and that kind of thing. Farmers were all excited and ready to go along with the program. Back again, we end up with the challenge of land preparation to go forward with this activity in this 2020-2022. So that come and relax for a little while. We started the poultry initiative in Tobago, which is going pretty good. We already started plucking more than one batch pluck already. So there is activity going on in the productive system in Tobago. We are now looking at expanding the poultry. We are just awaiting the weather pattern to change to actually start doing land preparation. We have a list of farmers waiting, ready to go.
All right.
Tractors have been purchased. We are there ready to go along to work with the farmers. We have the list of farmers, we have the numbers, we have the location. So we are there ready to work with the farmers.
Just now, Mr. Alfred. So is it that you are only pulling from your database of farmers, and what about the average Tobago farmer who's probably not on the database? How are we connecting with them?
Any farmer is free to come in. Anybody call, and people always call in. We direct them to the office.
Yes.
And tell them exactly how
so they're able to come into
the program
and sign up.
And sign up.
Yes.
Because
nobody's debarred from the program.
One of the complaints that we hear is that, well, I didn't know about that. What type of marketing is being done to ensure that the information is being distributed adequately so that, you know, the farmers are aware? Because we understand that a lot of farmers probably are not very active on social media. We tend to use social media a lot for sending out information now. So what are the avenues to get down to these, especially in those rural areas, to meet the farmers and allow them to understand that these initiatives are in place for them to benefit from?
Look, let me explain something to you, where it's concerned. The role of the Agricultural Society is one of advocacy and representation. Tobago has 8 agricultural districts, 1 agricultural society, and we have extension officers attached to all these departments. And I'm saying, whenever TATCO is going to do anything, the information is out there. So there should be no challenge for the information to get to the actual farmers once the association is there.
So Mr. Moses usually gets the alerts for the initiative.
Well, he would have said that he would have been contacted. I think he was very honest with that when he said that. He would have been contacted several times.
So that's the avenue for the information to be disseminated. We have the extension officers. The division is always aware exactly what we are doing. We normally inform the division. The line secretary for the division is the same, our line secretary. So information is out there. Yeah. So when people say they don't know, can't vex them because sometimes when the information is on public television and radio, they could be on the farm or somewhere else. But we will work to have the information continue to be out there.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be an area for us to improve.
But I also want to add as well with the cassava initiative. What we have did is to write to the division to utilize 2 of their tractors that we will take responsibility of in terms of maintenance and do the land preparation. The challenge right now is the weather. I mean, if I could have waved a magic wand and make the whole place dry, I would have. But the situation, it is what it is. But I'm committed to them. We are buying cassava from people on the island. We are the person who's doing our bread, the chicken, the poultry people. They were embarrassed yesterday by this individual. They called and they were like, who is this person? And I'm like, do not be distracted. Continue to focus. And I'm saying to all the Tobagonians who are out there trying to do their stuff and doing work with us, there's a gentleman who have a nice wine. There was a Christmas Joy concert by Brian McFarland. I'm not sure if you know who's Brian McFarland. Tobago products, the wine, the cassava mix, the buffer, all these things were on display in Trinidad. Our market really is to push the different products out there. The capital of paradise, we have made it into a profitable entity. It was very challenging. We were at a hammer and chisel stage. Now we're at a precision screwdriver. That's a little tweaking. The gentleman also mentioned about a commission facility, and I'm putting it right out here now to all the media houses. I am inviting you to come and see the commission building that was commissioned in December. I'm inviting all of the media houses to come and see.
Get into
come and see this commission building.
After the break, we'll get into that. So, guys, my producer is telling me that we can go ahead. Yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead. He was sure to ask about that building at Grosvenor.
I want all of the media houses, all of the persons who are interested to come and see. I'm available on Monday. I'm inviting all of the media houses.
So should we pencil that in that we are visiting the what is the name of the site exactly? Because he calls it the ozonated building.
I am glad that he did mention that. I'm so proud that he did mention it. So, you know, for me, I have no problem with people calling my name in public. I love it. It gives me a meaning, a better to get out there and do more. So I love when people make me a part of their daily schedule. I like when they make me their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I just love it, you know. So I'm inviting all of the media. Come out. Come and see what the commission building looks like. Come and see what your taxpayers' dollars have done for you so far.
Okay,
I'm inviting all of them.
I feel like the argument is, okay, if we do have this building and the building has the capacities that are stated.
Come and see for yourself.
Okay.
Come and see. That's come
Monday.
and see.
So we'll talk about it Tuesday. So we'll come and see Monday. And we'll talk about it Tuesday.
I'm inviting all of them. If you need transport, Ricardo Alfred, will pay for your transport. I put in my money where my mouth.
You all heard that, and he gave his number earlier.
Yes.
Give your number again.
I'm inviting all of them to come and see it. I'm hoping that you come and see it. Come and see this commission building that is what
ozonated
and no problem. Come and see it. I'm inviting everybody
Dillon,
to come and see
talk
it.
to us a little bit more about the heavy equipment and the tractors that were bought by the division. It's been said that they're still parked up there at the building in Millshield. So tell us a little bit.
Those equipments were acquired in the month of October. They came to be in the month of acquired. Based on the fact that there was consultation, there was meetings with the secretary, and they realized the demand that is out there, that they would acquire these equipments. They are valuable pieces of equipment. The reason why they are still there from October to now, you know the kind of weather we have been getting.
Yes.
It's impossible to put a wheel tractor on any one farm at this point in time. We're just destroying the land.
Also, it's an issue of insurance. It's an issue of getting a certain license to transport the excavator, and that's because they have the stuff there. All of these things will definitely benefit Tobago in a massive way. And what I will continue to do is push Tobago. As I said, I love when people call my name. I just love it. And I want people to continue. So if you have a product, come to us. Come to us. I'm invited. The doors are open. You can contact me. Come to us. And
so is this open door policy extended to Mr. Murray and Mr. Moses as
I have
well?
never excluded.
Because I would love to see you guys actually have that conversation and get down to the bottom of the issue. Because it seems to have a little bit of personal stuff going on in between there.
What I can tell you, from Mr. Dillon's perspective, and I'm putting some of Mr. Dillon's business out there. Mr. Dillon, to me, is an agricultural expert. Mr. Dillon is a teacher. Mr. Dillon is a nurturer. He's a mentor to me. He's a mentor to other farmers out there. You can ask Mr. Dillon anything and he will guide you. From the fertilizer to the what kind of crop you should put. Mr. Dillon has merged from farming into the restaurant building, into the restaurant business. I don't know if it's a jealousy. I don't know. However, Mr. Dillon is top-notch.
Yeah.
And I would stand
but how
by.
do we then, as TADCO and as a division, really find a middle ground and have a proper working relationship with the societies?
No.
Because there's
the societies or the persons? Which one? Because I think.
Well, the persons represent the society.
Right.
The Agriculture Society, and we had the president of the Coastal Farmers Association. So I'm talking about the association and the society.
We will continue to meet with them. All I have in my heart is love. I love everybody. I love Mr. Murray. I love Tyrone Moses. I love them.
Right.
It's love.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill all the hate with love. I love them. So I am willing to meet with anybody. I'm saying it again, Ricardo Alfred, Mr. Dillon. Put my number out there again, 684-3487. I'm willing to meet with you. I have gone home by people. He spoke about something about the people at Lamy Road. We went to have a meeting with them at 9 o'clock in the night up at their place up in Lamy Road. I mean, I am going all out to meet them. I am meeting with them. So I am kind of,
Mr. Alfred and Mr. Dillon,
yes.
I just want to say, especially from a societal perspective, when you guys are not getting along, or it seems as if you're not getting along in the media,
don't say that,
right?
Don't say that. Don't say
because
that.
that's how it comes across.
No. You have to not do that. Don't put persons' emotions and say there isn't. I am telling you now, I respect these people. I have nothing against them. Whatever they have against us is fine. Since being on this board, I have had persons call me and tell me that they're willing to work over, they're willing to work this. Listen, and I have no problem with that.
Mr.
Alfred,
I just see the need for us to
have
a fruitful relationship with the associations and the societies.
Yes, but
so there's a need to fix it publicly because it is embarrassing.
Yes,
it embarrasses us as Tobagonians when this is what the Agriculture Society is doing, when our focus needs to be on food safety, food security, and food sustainability on the island.
What I'm trying to say is that I am willing to meet anybody. I have no problem with persons calling me and telling me X, Y, Z. I have no problem with that. I am willing to work with anybody. Enemy, friend, foe, it doesn't matter. Dog, cow, sheep, it doesn't matter. I'm willing to work with anybody.
Understood.
I am willing. I'm saying it again. I am willing. I'm open.
So is this a call for Mr. Murray and Mr. Moses to come to your office sometime soon so you guys could really get to the bottom of
It
this?
is not just for them. It is
for
for everybody. I'm not dealing with individuals here. I'm dealing with Tobago on a whole, in a much larger scale. I'm talking about the capacity of Tobago. Persons have to tell me what is the capacity of Tobago right now. I have been on the port 21 years. I could tell you what comes to Tobago and who bring it. I could also tell you how much truck came off the vessel last time, what groceries they went to, and what vegetable stores they went to. These are information I have. I'm not speaking on because I'm just saying so. I have the facts. I can tell you who these people are. So all I'm saying, I am willing to meet with anybody. The board is willing. I think persons would have seen all the work that we have done at TADCO. I am quite comfortable where we are right now, right? Next year is going to have some grand stuff coming out. I'm asking persons, let's stay focused. Let us build Tobago. Let us push the different products. And to the person that is doing the different wines and stuff, kudos to you. We will definitely help you in terms of pushing your product. We love it.
Yeah, and what I would like you guys to do before we are able to wrap up this interview is to really tell farmers or people who know farmers in Tobago, how can they really get involved with TADCO and begin to build a relationship with TADCO?
I will say it again. My name is Ricardo Alfred. This is Mr. Owen Dillon. TADCO is down at the Shore Park place. You can talk to the CEO, Mr. Dinicio Salazar. If you want to contact me, 684-3487.
Right. So you've heard it here, Tobago. If you are a farmer or know a farmer, have a farmer in your district, and you think that they can truly benefit from what TADCO is offering, contact Ricardo.
We are not responsible for lands. Huh?
Right.
I want that to be clear.
The land usage that falls under the office of the chief secretary.
Exactly.
Right.
I cannot guarantee anybody land. I just want that to make that clear. That's not our
So nobody should call your phone to ask if they can get some land.
No, I'm saying I cannot. I have not. That's not my. That's not my. I have no authority.
That is understood.
Yeah.
That is understood.
Yes.
Mr. Dillon, is there anything that you want to say to the farmers out there, or even to the association and the society that was here this morning?
I'm making myself available, continue to make myself available to Tobago at large. People continue to call. I'm always willing to assist. I want to say something to the processors. We have created Tobago, the food hub, the Shore Park food hub, and there's enough space for Tobago processors to showcase the product and get the products over there. And at this time, it is Christmas time. There are a lot of people who make beautiful products during the year. This is an opportunity. Make use of the food hub to dispose of your products at this time of the year. Make maximum use. For those of you who might have your hams at home and don't have a problem, don't want to bake it, bring it down to Shore Park. Bring it to the food hub. Ask one of the person using the dirt oven, get your ham prepared at Shore Park.
Okay, so you guys are baking people's ham in the dirt oven
there?
There
are people with ovens down there. Yeah. You can bring it and get it done there. You can get your homemade bread done at Shore Park.
Yes.
You can get all your hops done for Shore Park for Christmas. That's the service that has been provided by TADCO at the food hub. So we're asking the agro processors, bring your product and dispose of them.
Yes, and I also want to really thank all of the persons who use the food hub. They have perfect products there. They have excellent indigenous stuff right here from Tobago. There's a person who did this bread. I can't wait for Saturday, really. You want to get some more, I mean, you can get a different
soaps. And the food hub
soaps.
is open from Thursday
to
Sunday.
With that aim in mind of going every day, but you have to build it out. So persons right now, it's in some rainy season. It's a covered space. You have use of toilets. You have some screens. You have a stage if you want to do your entertainment and stuff. Come down. We are open. I'm saying it again. Yeah. We are open to meeting persons.
Right. And finally, I want to ask you, Mr. Alfred, how does, small issues like the one we're dealing with now and, that video being posted on social media, how does that affect your relationship with your partners, especially with Nouveau Farms? How has it impacted the relationship?
Everything in life, you just can't please people. It's just what it is. I mean,
so have Nouveau called you to ask, what is going on? We're seeing this video posted online. How has it impacted your relationship?
We are in conversation, and I want persons to know again, there is going to be a facility that's going to have 2 of our mills and 1 of theirs. Tobago will be the production of flour. It is what it is as it relates to the weather. But again, we will talk more about this when we go to the ozone-free commission building. That was commissioned last year, December. When we go there, we'll talk more about it.
Well, that's my final question because we're about to head out. So I wanted to ask you, explain to us more about that building.
All the explanations will be done on Monday.
It will be done on
I'm inviting everybody. Come out.
You heard it here, guys. On Monday, you have invited all media houses and stakeholders to visit that Goldsboro
the Commission
Commission Ozone-Free.
What did the gentleman said again?
He called it an ozonated
filtered
building.
water, something.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming and speaking with us today, Mr. Alfred and Mr. Dylan. It was a pleasure having you, and I'm glad that you guys were able to clear up a couple of things, answer a couple of questions, and make sure that Tobagoans know, as well as the Agriculture Society and the Goldsboro Farmers Association, that you guys have an open door policy and you're more than willing to sit and chat with them. We as Tobagoans, we want to see you guys work it out because it's only in the best interest of the people. So again, thank you for coming. Tobago, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here for another Good Morning Tobago. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and I'll see you guys again next week, Tuesday. And I think a little birdie whispered in my ear this morning and told me that we might be having one of our representatives for either Tobago East or Tobago West. I'm not gonna say, you know, we might see. It's confirmed. My producer said it's confirmed. We have the representative for Tobago West. Minister Shamfa Kujo is going to be here chatting with me next week, Tuesday, and we look forward to having that conversation. That should be a really interesting one. She'd be talking about the last year of the THA and a number of other things, maybe even chat a little bit about that mass resignation that we saw and a number of things that she and her administration is doing at this time. So we look forward to that. So guys, stay tuned. You would see my co-host Candice Jackson here tomorrow. And I saw Mr. Alfred hinting to me that he needed to make one last plug before we leave.
I'm inviting all, keep it clear, I'm inviting all to come and see
all
the state
of Tobago
of the art.
is invited to see the state of the art building. So
commission
guys,
building,
again, thank you for watching Good Morning Tobago. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and it's always interesting when we're chatting here on a morning for Good Morning Tobago. It's always a great conversation. Again, thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Mr. Dylan, it's always good to have you around and your expertise. Just know that we as Tobagoans, we appreciate everything that you've done for agriculture on the island. All right. Thank you, guys. And I will see you next week, Tuesday, as we chat with Minister Shamfa Kujo. All right. Enjoy the rest of your morning, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey. Tobago updates.